Some people say less is more, but I live by the Fraser Crane adage, well, if less is more, just imagine how much more is. When it comes to Star Wars, I always want more. So here's some more. Welcome to Popcorn and Vinyl, the show dedicated to films, film score, and vinyl. And in this episode, we're talking about a special re-release from Varese Sarabande of The Empire Strikes Back Symphonic Suite from the motion picture score. So what is this record? Well, it's not the soundtrack. This is a concert orchestration of the original soundtrack material and was meant to accompany, not compete, with the original soundtrack release. This album features 13 tracks from the film, with some unique arrangements that differ from the regular soundtrack release. The original soundtrack release might appear similar, including having similar track names. However, the symphonic suites do differ a little bit in their arrangement. Many John Williams scores basically receive a condensed release, typically arranged out of film order and more in line with a concert program. That first pressing of the original soundtrack featured 75 minutes of music. So not the entire score, and already arranged as those sort of concert performances in that order. The symphonic suites take those concert arrangements and present some new arrangements of that material. In the liner notes, Williams himself noted, "This recording took the concert arrangements he wrote and Gerhardt skillfully augmented them with other music from the film to form a unified whole." The recording is performed by the 96-member National Philharmonic Orchestra and is conducted by Charles Gerhardt, and was recorded on May 2nd, 1980. The artwork is absolutely stunning. It has this painterly, artistic style that I absolutely love. I think the main reason I'm so attracted to this style is because it really reminds me of the concept art kind of originally created for the trilogy by Ralph McQuarrie, or even some of the promotional artwork of posters that had that sort of painterly style, and that always really got me excited for the film. It features a gatefold with liner notes by Ray Bradbury, John Williams, and Christopher Palmer. It even features technical specifications of the album, which is pretty cool and a little bit more rare to see. This also features some behind-the-scenes images, which I always enjoy seeing with these older re-released albums. This album starts with the 20th Century Fox fanfare, which is not included on the standard LP release. And that's just a nice addition for me. I mentioned in my review of the 40th anniversary New Hope record set that I miss hearing the 20th Century Fox fanfare at the start of every Star Wars movie, and I sort of wished Disney would have done that once they acquired Fox. Tracks like Luke's first crash capture the spirit of the action of the film. Empire does differ in A New Hope in that it has more elaborate and exciting moments fairly early on in the film, aside from that opening scene. From there, moving to Han Solo and the princess, we get that sort of magical love story element that provides a nice contrast to some of the darker and more intense parts of the film. The Asteroid Field is probably my favorite track, but I feel like there's sort of like a 10% grandeur missing from this performance. Those crescendos didn't hit quite the same, but it did have a great organic feel to it. All the instruments felt very plucky, fast, and lively. The Training of a Jedi Knight, this was a really interesting interpretation of some of those themes. It really distilled really nicely some of those training moments on Dagobah. With Yoda's theme, this was opposite to the Asteroid Field in I felt this had a greater richness to it in the recording than the original soundtrack. Overall, this album sounds great. Instruments all feel very three-dimensional sounding. I feel like I'm attending a concert. I could hear somebody playing flute over here, or someone else on violin here. And this album has such a tremendous mix and is a great interpretation of John Williams' beautiful score. Now with this LP re-release, there are some actually really cool variants available. And I was originally sent the standard black version for review purposes, but I ended up tracking down a Canadian exclusive variant from Sunrise Records, which is a record store chain here. So the variants available, are the ones from Sunrise Records. So that's the Cloud City orange vinyl. Newbury Comics had a gold marble, originally dubbed as Imperial Gray. And Vinyl Me Please offered an Ice Planet Hoth Blue variant. When the variants were released, I did read some displeasure regarding the look of the final product and that it didn't look like the original mock-ups. Now this was mainly on the Newbury Comics version. The same comment kind of applied to the Canadian one as well. The main criticism was that it looked much more gold than gray. And the Cloud City Orange one also had strong hints of gold kind of mixed in as well. For both of these options, I actually liked the final version better, personally. The Cloud City Orange is absolutely gorgeous with this orange and gold marble effect. And overall, I am delighted with this release. And it's an especially attractive offering, as since it's been re-released, it's always a fairly low-priced record in comparison to other new releases. So where does this fit with the other soundtracks? Well, this album has been marketed as a companion piece to the original soundtrack, and I see it as attending a live performance. Sure, you know the music, but this recording is just different enough to enjoy as a separate piece. As I frequently mention, I always enjoy expanded scores and getting as much new material as possible. But this album is different. It's a unique performance and recording, and it's especially conducive to vinyl as a medium because you sit down and you listen to a performance. You're not listening to the music from the film verbatim. You are taking in a deliberate listening experience and basically a concert in your home. At the end of the day, I do highly recommend this album. Even if you already own the soundtrack, again, that performance is enjoyable and different enough. And for me, more Star Wars in my life is always good. Now I want to leave you with a question of the day. If you could have another symphonic suite album for any other Star Wars film, kind of created in the same style, which one would you choose? I would love to see the symphonic suites for The Phantom Menace. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please do give the video a like and consider subscribing if you would like to see more like this in the future. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.